has its ups and downs. Turn your pretty face to an ugly frown. Seems that when I fix one thing.
Hello, welcome to The Awakening. I'm your host, Angela Brown. Today's topic is obesity, which is very near and dear to my heart. Sitting on my left is Dr. Yolanda Lewis-Ragland. Welcome to The Awakening.
Thank you.
My hands are cold. And you're a nutritionist, and your name is Elva Anderson.
Yes, thank you for having
Welcome
me.
to the show today. Well, where do I want to get started? We were what is obesity?
Well, obesity is technically defined as a person with a body mass index that is greater than 29.9. Generally, we say
29.9 is normal?
greater than 29.9.
Okay.
Actually, what's normal is 18 to 24.9.
I'm
so
22, that's
overweight-
good.
That's
18.
perfect, right.
Mhm.
So overweight begins at 25.
Okay.
A body mass index of greater than 25. And then from 25 to 29.9, you're considered overweight. Once you hit 30, then now you are obese. Morbidly obese is actually greater than 40
Okay.
in terms of the body mass index, which is generally found by dividing your height by your weight is how we
Okay.
find your body mass index.
Okay. I have a question here. DC leads in childhood obesity, ages 10 to 17.
Yeah.
I would think more like 5 and 6. I've seen some very heavy children.
Yes, well, actually what statistics have shown is that the age group that leads is the teenage age group nationally. We are still very much up there when it comes to our toddlers and our preschool age children as well as our primary school age children. But in terms of the actual numbers, our teenagers are the largest in terms of in the nation. But all three groups in terms of how we split them up in terms of toddlers, primary children, primary age children, and teenage children are all very much overweight in the district.
Elva, I want to ask you a question. What do? You're a nutritionist. How can you get parents to get children to eat better?
Yeah, I'm a health educator and certified nutritional consultant. So what I
Okay.
do is I try to see the families, not just the child by themselves. So the parents come in and have the child in there with the parents. And I sit there and listen. So it's almost like being a detective, almost like a CSI case, you know,
Okay.
where a
Are
parent
you
comes
even a
in.
psychiatrist?
Well, I'm a licensed professional consultant too.
Oh,
yeah.
you go,
So,
girl.
you have to do the body, mind, spirit. And I think just like Dr. Ragland, with her views, is body, mind, and spirit. And so when
Okay.
you meet with the parent and the children, you have to see where they are. And so a lot of times they're eating fast foods, or they're not drinking enough water, or they're not getting enough sleep. So for example, I'll ask them, how much sleep do they get? What time of bed do they go to sleep? And they may not think it has nothing to do with obesity or being overweight, but it does, because the child has to get proper amount of sleep in order for the body to, you know, heal and get those proper mechanisms and hormones and balance, homeostasis there. So a lot of times parents say, well, the child goes to bed at 12 or 1 a.m. And then they get up at 6 a.m. to go to school. So think about it. A child is sleep deprived, so they're sleepy. So then I ask them, I said, well, do they have water? A lot of times parents say, no, they drink sodas or juice, and that's high in sugar too. So I recommend that they have water. Then I listen to what they eat, and a lot of times, and Dr. Ragland probably see a lot of clients like this who do not even eat breakfast. And you have to
Really?
have breakfast because
That's the most important meal of the day.
absolutely, because the children are going to the schools, no breakfast on their stomachs, and they're hungry. And how can you keep and be alert when you have nothing on your mind, or vitamins and minerals keeping you alert? And so they fall asleep at 10 a.m. Teachers think they have problems. Then you have a little boy who's hyper because he's had maybe a donut or some high
Maybe he's a
sugar-
ADHD too.
Possible. Everything's linked together. So you have to really try to find out what's going on in their home, where the parents are, what they understand about the food, the children, their eating habits. They may skip lunch, then they go home and they eat a late dinner. And so you have this weird cycle of just eating habits, sleeping habits, with what they're drinking, and you really have to work with it bit by bit. And so it didn't happen overnight. So you have to work with them in little small increments, and it's like baby steps.
Okay. let's get back to you.
No problem.
Don't you think if a child is like a teenager, they're going to stay up maybe like midnight to go to bed? They could be up till 3 or 4 in the morning and eating the entire time to fill up for what they
Absolutely.
didn't have during
Right.
the day. I know this happens.
Yes.
So that's one of the problems that we have. So first of all, we talked about breakfast. Breakfast not only being important because you'll have a child that may fall asleep at some point during the day, but the physiologic point about this whole issue is that breakfast starts your metabolism.
Starts your
and
engine
so,
running.
Exactly.
You gotta
So
go.
if you get the proper breakfast, you can actually get your metabolism going, and that will aid you in not eating the wrong things during the day. So if you get a child who has a proper breakfast that's filled with nutritious
How about oatmeal?
foods. Oatmeal's
That's good.
great.
Still
Oatmeal's
cut
perfect.
oatmeal is wonderful.
That's one of the
Want your fiber.
first real, things that we recommend, because you look at what we call the food pyramid and the
Yes.
grains and things. That's one of the number one things. A child should have about 65% of their meals of that day should be grains and whole grains. And so oatmeal is a very good example.
Oatmeal's a good way to get it.
And
That's
then you
what I
just put
have.
some like raisins on
Raisins
it, or
and
I like
dried
strawberries.
fruit, or
Yeah, so we'll add,
cherries.
add some fruit, because they need 3 to 5 servings of fruit. You want to add a very light sweetener. You might use something like brown sugar. I really prefer and I really suggest raw sugars or agave nectar or something like that.
agave,
The thing that's nice about agave nectar is it keeps your blood sugar from jumping high, and
Okay.
that's one of the things that causes the highs and lows in children. And so they have these sugar highs, and then they fall, and once they crash, then they're looking for something else to feed them. And we were talking about insulin earlier, and we'll get to that. But the point
Yeah.
is, these children who stay up late and who don't have any real structure,
They
to their day, will find themselves eating. I mean, as an adult, you do the same thing. You're up late, you're working on a project, you're drinking coffee, you're eating, because you're trying to keep yourself, up and active as you're getting this work done. And so these
Right.
children do the same things, and they consume a lot more calories than they need within that day's time. And the other thing that's important about sleep is that sleep is when you actually process most of your foods, and so your body actually gets to moving things from the stored fat area. That's when it moves
where
it.
it's
Well, if you don't get much sleep, it doesn't move that stored fat. Not only have you consumed too many calories during the day that you've stored, it won't move the stored fat, and that's also when growth takes place in children, is
Right.
in those evening hours and those night hours. And so these are children whose growth can end up being affected by that, as well as their metabolism, as well as they're just storing the fat and they're not able to use it. And so by the time they wake up in the morning and they go to eat again, they really haven't had time to process what they've eaten the day before.
I've got a mom to ask you a question. Her child is having trouble having bowel movements. That's because it's not getting the right nutrients. I told her to pass the excess, I call excess baggage away.
Right,
And
right.
not only that, a lot of people aren't getting fiber. Do you
Right,
find
so
that?
that's
Fiber
what I
is
was
what
saying.
you
So
need,
fiber
exactly.
is very important in the diet in terms of poor digestive
Yeah.
functioning.
Because his stomach is always, expanded because
Right.
he's hurting
So-
and he can't sleep.
A large girth as well. So a person who has a large abdomen,
Like my
they,
husband.
they have a hard time because many of their organs are actually padded in
Yeah.
fat.
They
They're
would be
padded in
constricted,
fat.
is what I told
They're
the mother.
being
And I'm not a
constricted.
doctor, but I know
And
these
therefore,
kids.
the blood supply actually to all the areas of the digestive tract. You have 3 main areas: your ascending, your transcending, and your descending colon. And all of those areas really need to have very good blood flow and supply and activity. And so fiber is one of the things we always ask, people, parents to provide for their children in their diets. Whole fruits and vegetables. This is where a lot of your fiber does come from, when we talk about really helping to move. They're great complex carbohydrates, which is your energy blocks, but it also has lots of fiber. So lots of parents want to ask, well, what's the difference? Why can't I just give them fruit juice? It's a serving, And unfortunately, when you look at some labels, it will say this is considered 1 fruit serving or, 2 fruit servings. Although that may be a serving,